Even on my wedding day, I knew my sister would find a way to steal the show. Rachel is just like that. Our family always looks at her as the most important thing. I thought she might steal my wedding dress, but I never thought she would. Hey, my name is Kelly. I've been the other kid for 29 years. To be honest, I'm not the exciting or amazing one like Rachel. I'm the sensible and reliable one. It feels like I've seen this movie too many times while I'm at Rachel's engagement party tonight. Mom tells Rachel, "Oh, sweetheart, you look beautiful," as she fixes her hair with a happy smile. Henry is really nice. As soon as I met him, I knew he was the one. I take another sip of champagne and try not to think about how my mom didn't say much when Adam and I got engaged 7 months ago. She only said, "He seems nice enough." "Kelly, could you get some more appetizers from the kitchen?" Dad calls out, but he doesn't even look at me. Of course, I'm the one doing the work, even at Rachel's party. Adam gently squeezes my hand and says, "I'll help." I love him so much for that. I start putting crackers and cheese on a tray in the kitchen while Adam opens another bottle of wine. "Are you okay?" he asks softly, worry in his eyes. "I'm fine," I answer, but I pause because I don't want to sound like a teen who is jealous. "I see you," he says. "You're the most amazing person I know." He hugs me, and his chest feels warm against my cheek. The living room has a loud laugh. When I look around the corner, I see Rachel telling a story to a group of people while holding a glass of champagne. Henry got down on one knee in Bryant Park while our song was played by a string quartet. It was like a fairy tale, and Mom wiped a tear from her eye. It was so magical. I remember Adam's proposal. It wasn't fancy, but it was real. He made dinner at home, and while we danced in our small living room, he nervously asked me to marry him. It was sweet and perfect. "At least you're finally getting calm," Mom said back then. Suddenly, Rachel's voice cuts through my thoughts. "Where are those appetizers?" Everyone's hungry. I take a deep breath, pick up the tray, and walk back out with my sisterly best smile. That's when I hear it. Rachel whispers to her mom, "Talking about the wedding, I was thinking about Kelly's dress." I stopped in the doorway in shock. "The one she bought for her wedding?" Mom asked. "It's really beautiful," Rachel replied. "She's not getting married until next year anyway. There's a dress in her closet that would be perfect for my garden wedding in 4 months." Mom said, "I'm sure she wouldn't mind. You're her sister, and it would look great on you." I gripped the platter tighter. That dress wasn't just fabric to me. I had been looking for it for months. When I saw it, I knew it was the one. I had saved up a lot of money to buy it because my mom wouldn't help me pay for it like she did for Rachel. "I'll talk to her about it tomorrow," Rachel said, sounding sure. "She always gets it." I walked into the room and dropped the platter more than I meant to. A few crackers jumped, and people turned to look. "Is everything okay, sweetie?" my dad finally asked me. I looked straight at Rachel. She looked a little guilty, but her eyes had that smug look that meant she knew she would get what she wanted. Emma, my best friend, looked at me from across the room and knew something was wrong. She raised an eyebrow and asked me quietly if I was okay. I told her no, not now. As I watched Rachel take in everyone's praise like she always did, something changed inside me. It became clear all at once. She wants my wedding dress. Fine. But this time, things won't go the way she wants them to. I won't be the quiet, understanding sister, or the practical one who always gets out of the way. When the doorbell rang the next morning, I was already sure who it was. Rachel never waits when she wants something. "Kelly," she said brightly as she walked right into my apartment, her fancy purse swinging. "I need to talk to you about something important." I was busy folding clothes and making coffee, so I didn't have time to talk. She sat down on my couch with her usual straight back and sweet, practiced smile. "You know how my wedding is coming up first, right?" she asked. "I've been thinking your wedding dress would be perfect for my garden wedding." "You want my wedding dress?" I asked. I put the towel down and turned around to face her. "Just to borrow it," she said quickly. "You're not using it for months anyway." She leaned forward and said, "Come on, ally. You know how much this means to me." Before I could say anything else, the doorbell rang again. Rachel had brought it back up, so of course Mom said, "I thought I'd find you both here." She walked in with a bag of clothes and said, "Kelly, honey, I grabbed your dress from the closet at home. I thought we could do a quick fitting with Rachel right now." My throat tightened. They had already taken my dress from my room at my childhood home. It was so beautiful. Mom unzipped the bag and showed me the ivory lace dress I fell in love with. "Mom," I finally managed to say, "you went into my room." "Don't be so dramatic, sweetheart," she said. "We're family." She held the dress up to Rachel, who was already taking off her jacket. "Oh, it's perfect," Mom said. "Even better than on you, Kelly. The color looks amazing on Rachel's skin." I quickly texted Emma. "So, come over now." I haven't said yes. I said, but they weren't listening. Rachel was already putting on my dress, and Mom was helping her zip it up. "Oh my God," Rachel said, spinning in front of the mirror. "It's like it was made for me. Mom was so proud of you." "Kelly, isn't your sister beautiful?" I looked at the dress. It was my dress, the one I worked so hard to get, and dreamed of dancing in it with Adam on my wedding night. "Take it off," I said quietly. Rachel looked at me and then back at me and asked, "What?" I said, "Take it off. It's my dress. I bought it. It's for my wedding." Mom let out that sad sigh I've heard 1,000 times. "Kelly, don't be selfish. Your sister needs it first. You know how important this is to her." "Important to her?" I yelled back. "What about what's important to me?" Rachel said, smoothing the lace down. "You're being silly. It's just a dress, and you know I'll take better care of it then," Emma said as the door flew open. "What the hell is going on? Isn't it great that you asked me that?" Rachel smiled. "Peter, doesn't this dress look great on me?" Emma didn't answer her. She walked straight to me and stood between me and my family. "Mrs. Take that, Frank," she said firmly. "That dress belongs to Kelly. You can't just take it." Mom quickly said, "We're not taking it. This is just a loan for family." I saw Emma look at me. "Kelly," she said in a strong but calm voice. "What do you need?" I saw that my sister was shining in my dress, as if it were her own. My mom was always ready to defend her favorite, so I looked at her. Then I looked at my best friend, the only person who had ever really seen me, and said, "Keep it, Rachel. You always get what you want anyway. What's one more thing?" "Don't be dramatic," Rachel said with a roll of the eyes. Emma started to say something, but I cut her off. When she looked at me in the mirror, I told her, "I'm sure you will. I hope it brings you everything you deserve." Mom clapped her hands happily. "That's the spirit. Now, Rachel, let's talk about the changes." Emma turned to me after they left with my dress. I walked over to the window and watched Rachel carefully put my dress into her car. "It's funny, but I told Emma, that look in your eyes is kind of scary," and she smiled. "I love it." I smiled at her and asked, "How much do you know about garden fountains?" She smiled back, "Not much," and I was ready to learn. "We're not doing anything bad," I said, pulling out my laptop. "Just fair." "Didn't Rachel book the same garden venue where she ruined your Sweet 16? I asked. "The one with the beautiful fountain in the middle?" Emma left. "Oh my God, this is going to be great, right?" I started typing, and my smile got bigger. "Let's just say Rachel's dress won't be the only thing that looks great on her wedding day. What do you want me to do?" Adam asked me from across the kitchen table, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. "It's simple. Give Henry some toast, and tell him to stay busy during the practice dinner. Afterward, take him out for drinks. That's all there is to it." "While you and Peter mess with the fountain?" he asked, carefully setting down his cup. Emma, who was on our couch with her laptop, said, "Got it." Every Saturday, the repair team checks the fountain. We have 3 full days to make our small change before the wedding. I put my hand on Adam's. "Trust me, we're not doing anything illegal or dangerous. We're just doing something that makes sense." "Like when Rachel spilled punch on your dress at your Sweet 16? He asked with a raised question. I pulled up a chair next to Emma and said, "Just like that?"
"Show me what you found now."
She looked at me with her laptop screen turned on. "That's all there is to how the water works. For about 20 minutes, we only need to be able to use the control screen. Do you know how to do this?"
"How?"
I asked. She smiled proudly and said, "My cousin is a landscaper." I asked for his help and he talked me through everything. Everything that has to do with time and pressure valves. We're not breaking anything. Adam leaned in to look at the screen. "And by changes, you mean just a little more water pressure?" she asked with a wink. I told her the plan. It has to happen right when Rachel is going to say her vows in front of the fountain, and then it has to splash. "That's great," Emma said with a big smile. Adam told them, "You're both crazy." But I saw him raise the corner of his mouth. "I'm probably going to hell, because I found this funny."
My phone rang.
A text message from Rachel. "Tomorrow is the dress fitting. Mother tells you to come and help." I mumbled something about hell while showing them the message. Emma sat up straighter and said, "Great. I'll check out the site while you're at the fitting. No one will find it strange that I'm your +1 at the wedding. Adam, I'll take Henry to lunch. Keep him away from the event. I might even tell him to plan pictures by the pond during the ceremony." I was shocked when I looked at him. "Welcome." He kissed my face and pulled me close. "For years, I've seen Rachel and your folks treat you like you don't exist. I agree with what you need to do. Please promise not to go too far." I gave him a tight hug and said, "I promise. It's just water. Dress that costs a lot and water, but it's still just water." I watched Rachel spin around in my dress the next day in the wedding shop. It had already been changed for her. The lace was now perfect for her. Mom said, "It needs more sparkle. Perhaps some crystals could be put around the neck."
No, Mom.
Rachel was already nodding when I spoke up. "What a great idea. Not anything too fancy. Just enough to make it shine." "Kelly, do you mind?" she asked. "We'll pay to make the changes." I believed that everything would go according to plan while I looked at the water. "Karmic things. Like you think is best, Rachel," I told her. "Today is your day, after all."
My phone rang.
A note from Emma. "Found a venue. The place where they hide the control panel will shock you. You make this look way too easy, Kelly." Mom said, waking me up from my thoughts. "Do you even mean what you say? We're talking about the changes." I smiled and said, "Sorry. I was just planning my wedding for next year, which is when I was going to wear that dress." Rachel's face changed for a split second. Perhaps guilt. She smiled again as if nothing had happened. "Please find another dress," she said.
This one was meant for me.
"Look at how beautiful it is," she said as she danced in front of the mirror. The white lace sparkled in the light, making her look like a princess from a storybook. Too bad the story was about to take a turn. Another buzz. "If you want to look cute, stand by the east pillar during the vows." Rachel asked me what I was smiling about, and I told her I was just thinking about your perfect day. "I can't wait to see how it all turns out," my mom said, proud that I seemed to be okay with everything. "That's the spirit, honey. Family first, right?"
Right.
I agreed and quickly typed a message to Emma. Everything was set. Operation Karma was a go. I looked at Rachel as she admired herself in the mirror and thought of all the times she had stolen something that belonged to me and how her parents had chosen her over me. In 2 weeks, she would have her dream wedding in her dream venue while wearing my dress. Our family got together at my parents' house the night before the wedding for what my mom called a special dinner. I knew what that meant. Another night all about Rachel. "Remember Kelly's 7th birthday?" Rachel asked, laughing as she swirled her wine and tried to blow out my candles. "Those were my candles," I said, stabbing at my salad. "It was my party. It wasn't Rachel's party, but it was Mom's." Mom patted Rachel on the hand and said, "Oh, sweetie, does it matter? You girls shared everything back then." "Shared," I muttered. Adam gently squeezed my knee under the table. "Speaking of sharing," Dad said, raising his glass, "I want to make a toast to my beautiful daughter on the night before her big day." "Kelly," Mom said sharply, like a warning. "No, go ahead," I said. "Tell us more about your shining star, like when she told her friends about my prom date or when she took my college acceptance letter and showed it to her friends before I even got to see it." Rachel waved her hand and said, "That was a long time ago. Why are you being so dramatic?" I laughed briefly. "You're wearing my wedding dress tomorrow." "Girls," Dad said quickly, "let's not ruin the evening." My phone rang. It was Emma writing to say that everything was ready for tomorrow. Are you sure about this? I asked my family. Dad pretended nothing was wrong. Mom gushed over Rachel, and Rachel pretended she was completely innocent. I need some air, I said, pushing my chair back. Adam got up, but I gave him a quick shake of the head to stop. I needed to be alone. I went outside and sat on the old swing set, the same one Rachel broke my arm on by pushing me off of it. As usual, everyone said it was an accident. Penny for your thoughts. My dad's voice came from behind me, and I turned around to see him standing there with his hands in his pockets and looking awkward. Save it for Rachel's wedding gift, I told him straight out. He sighed and sat down on the swing next to me. When you two were little, your mom and I thought we were doing the right thing. Rachel needed your full attention all the time. We thought you were strong enough to handle being pushed to the side. So that's all right? I asked. He said quiet. No, it doesn't. We didn't say a word. In the cool night air, the swing's chains made a soft rustling sound. He began to say, that dress. I told you not to. I understand. I bought it myself. Dad looked down and said, I saw the receipts. And the extra hours you worked. He kicked the mud. I needed to help. Yes, I said. You needed to. My phone went off. Emma was the one who sent the final time for tomorrow. I thought about the water, rights and wrongs, and how to make things right. I said quickly, Dad. Remember when I was 17?
He jerked.
What about the punch? Rachel said it happened by accident. I told them it wasn't. She later told me that she meant to do it. She thought everyone was looking at me too much. He looked shocked. She's going to wear my dress tomorrow. The one thing I bought for myself and no one else could have. I got up. What would you do, Dad? He gave me a long look. It looks like something will happen tomorrow. I looked into his eyes. It might be time for karma to show up now. He gave me a slow nod, then took out his wallet and gave me a check. Why are you doing this? I asked. He told her for your dress. The one you bought with your own money. You deserve a great day tomorrow, no matter what happens. I looked at the bill. It hurt to breathe. It's getting late, don't you think? He tried to smile and say, better late than never. Tomorrow, just be careful.
Okay.
The heart of your mom isn't as strong as it used to be. The check went into my pocket.
Dad, don't worry.
Everything is going to go just the way it should. When Rachel got back inside, she showed her mom something she had borrowed. His mother gave him a diamond ring. I wanted to scream when I saw it. She called out to Kelly, there you are. Tonight is my last fitting, and I need your help. One last time with my sister before the big day. I believed in fate and the fountain. My dad was finally trying to make things right. I thought about it for a second. The dress might need a few more changes. You don't mind if we add more to it, right? That was it. I knew what I was going to do. Of course not, I replied with a laugh. Tomorrow should be great. Adam looked at me across the room and raised an eyebrow. I gave him a small nod to show that I agreed with our plan. Tomorrow, karma would show up right on time. The garden looked like it was from a fairy tale. There were white chairs lining the path to the altar, rose petals all over the place, and the fountain, which was the main attraction, flowed slowly behind the wedding arch. Everything's ready, Emma whispered as she joined me in the bridal suite. I double-checked the time during till death do us part. The fountain is going to put on a great show. I watched Rachel spin in my dress, which she had added crystals and pearls to. Mom was adjusting her veil while the makeup artist touched up her lipstick. Honey, you're being very quiet. Is everything okay? Just taking it all in, I said with a soft smile. I smiled and checked my phone. A text from Adam. Henry's in place. Told him the fountain would be perfect for wedding photos. Ladies, the wedding coordinator said, peeking into the room. We're starting in 20 minutes. Please go to your places, everyone. Rachel grabbed my hands all of a sudden. That proud, spoiled person she is didn't show up for a second. She looked scared, just like Rachel really is. I remembered making blanket forts with my friends as kids and telling each other secrets before things changed. She said softly, Kelly, before the competition, when her parents always picked her. You'll be right behind me as my maid of honor. Right behind you, I told her, trying to forget the memories. The music started with "Where Else Would I Be?" As they left, I stood in line and watched each girl go. The next person to come was Rachel, who looked beautiful in my dress. She gently squeezed my arm and whispered, "East Pillar, don't forget." Both of her parents walked next to her.
People gasped.
There was nothing better than that moment. I followed behind and kept track of my steps. The water spraying from the waterfall behind the arch was caught by the sun. Everything took place right on time. I could barely hear the priest when the ritual started. The water pressure, how my dress sparkled on Rachel, and making sure everything happened at the right time got to me. They came up with their own promises. He said, "Henry went first." His words were sweet and honest. For a moment, I almost felt bad for what was about to happen. Just about. Rachel then started. "We met, and I knew you were mine right away, Henry. Just like I've always known what I wanted and gotten it." I saw my dad in the front row. He seemed to understand by giving me a small nod. Rachel said, "I promise to always be the center of your world." My phone rang. Emma sent the message. I moved to stand next to the stake in the east. The priest said, "Until death do us part." Behind them, the stream changed a little. Some of the guests turned around when they heard the new sound. "I do," Rachel smiled and said with pride. When it was time for the last prayer, the priest spoke. 1, 2, 3. A huge cloud of water shot up into the air. It looked like magic for a moment, shining like diamonds in the sun. It was then gravity took over. Rachel, Henry, and the people closest to them got soaked when the water fell like a light rainstorm. In an instant, both my dress and her dress went from being white to see-through. Her perfectly styled hair fell out. As she screamed, the light hit the crystals on her dress and made rainbow shapes. She yelled, "My dress!" "The fountain! Someone stop it!" Things went crazy. Guests jumped up, some ran, and others tried to help. The wedding planner yelled into her radio as she tried to get maintenance's attention. I stood by the east pillar, dry as a bone, and watched it all happen. "Kia," I said in a whisper. "Where is the button to turn it off?" Someone yelled, "This is terrible." Mom cried and tried to put a covering over Rachel. Who would do this? I saw Emma hiding her laugh behind a bunch of flowers. Adam kept a straight face as he stood with the groomsmen. Then Rachel turned around quickly and looked at me. It had run down her face in black lines. "It was you," she said, pointing. "Only you're dry." The water stopped finally, but the damage was already done. Her dress stuck to her like wet paper. The fancy things she added hung there empty and sad. I looked confused and asked, "What are you talking about?"
It was just a chance event.
"Like when I spilled punch on your dress at your 17th birthday party." No one else could hear her hiss. We just looked at each other. We were angry and jealous at each other for years, and it all came to a head. She knew I did it. I knew she knew. She knew I knew she knew. "So," I said in a quiet voice, "I guess some things are meant to be shared. Rachel, you little one." "Honey," Mom cut in, running over with more towels. "Let's dry you off inside. We can still make this right." I heard her snap as they let her go. "Keely needs to leave right now." I looked at my dad. He gave a small shake of the head and had a small smile on his face. The wedding planner came up to me and looked very tense. "We need about an hour to start over. Could you help the guests find their way?" "Of course." I said it nicely. My sister is having a great day. What else could go wrong? At that very moment, thunder could be heard far away. I hadn't planned for it to rain, but luck has a way of making things work out that way. The next hour was a mess. The organizer worked quickly to get everything inside. There was a porch over the venue where I stood and watched the storm come in. No longer was it just perfect time. It looked like something from a movie. "Did you also plan for rain?" Emma asked as she came up behind me with 2 champagne glasses. I raised a glass and said, "That one's all Mother Nature. But I do like how intense she is." I could hear Rachel crying loudly from the bridal room inside. "It's a mess. My dress is messed up. Everything is messed up." Talking about dramatic, Emma said something. The door flew open right then, and Mom stormed out. Kelly, come in now. Emma got my glass back for me. That's it. It looked like a mess in the bridal room. My wet and wrinkled dress was squished in the corner. Rachel cried into her hands while two women tried to fix her hair while she sat in her slip. Mom yelled at me. Fix this. I asked her quietly. Fix what? As I looked at my nails. Raising her head, Rachel yelled, Don't act like you're not guilty. Tears and mascara were all over her face. You did it. You messed up my wedding. Did I? As I shook my head, I said,
Can you show it?
I don't need proof. Only you didn't get wet. You were smirking as you stood by the pond. I said with a shrug, I guess I was just lucky. Such as when you spilled punch on my birthday dress, or when you deleted my email accepting me to college by mistake. Or, how about the time you took my prom date? Rachel yelled. I added that was different. She stood up so quickly that hairpins flew out of her hair.
It was a mistake. Were they?
I took a step closer and asked, Or did you always need to be the center of attention? Taking what's mine all the time? Mom said, Girls, but I told her, No, Mom. Let's finally talk about it. How did Rachel take my wedding dress, which I paid for with my own money? Tell me about how you helped her. Let's talk about how you two always get what you want from me because you believe Rachel needs it more than anyone else. Rachel screamed, I needed that dress. It was perfect, and it was mine. Outside, thunder shook the building, and guests could be heard talking in the hallway. You want to hear something funny? I almost stopped it right before the fountain went off. Watching you say your vows, I said in a lower voice. I almost called it off. But you didn't, Rachel said through tight teeth. No, I told her, because you needed to learn something. You can't keep taking things that aren't yours and expect nothing to happen. As a result, Mom's voice was shaking. Kelly, are you aware of what you've done? You messed up the wedding of your sister.
Mom, no.
I stole her moment of happiness.
There's a change.
There was a knock on the door. Dad looked in. The people need to be calmed down. What should I say? My wedding will not happen. Rachel cried and broke down again. I told myself gently, Oh, stop being so dramatic. This surprised even me. Your dress is just wet, not old. It has dryers at the site. You can get married today, but your dress might be wet. She screamed once more. That dress was better than none at all, I said. That's what I'll have at my wedding now. Dad blew his nose.
I called a few people about that.
The store where you bought your dress is keeping another one for you. People said it might be even better than the first style, even though it's different. Everyone looked at him. What are you? Mom was shocked and asked. Dad looked at me straight in the eye and said, It was the least I could do after everything. Rachel looked back and forth between us, and her face changed. She told her dad, You knew. You were sure she would do this. He said, I knew something was going to happen. I don't blame her. Mom said in a loud voice, This is crazy. We're family. We're supposed to help each other out.
I said exactly that.
Don't take help. Pick one over the other sometimes. One more knock. This time, it was the person in charge of the wedding. The dryers are ready, and the event has been moved inside again. It looks really nice when it rains outside. Should we start? Rachel looked in the mirror and saw herself. My mascara was smudged, my hair was a mess, and my wet dress was on a hook. She then looked at me. What do you know? She stood up straighter and said, Yes, let's do it. Help me dry off. Make up my face. I'm getting married.
She then looked at me.
No more, Kelly. Today is the last day. We're done, sister or not. I agreed and felt oddly light. It looks fair. Do you need help putting on your makeup? Rachel yelled. Get out. I turned to leave, but stopped at the door. Rachel, for what it's worth,